Hi everybody! Today we're going to talk about the four treasures of artist or scholar's studio, namely the brush, ink stick and the inkstone, and the paper. Why we don't mention color, you might be wondering. The answer is that Chinese painting is originated from calligraphy. So painting and calligraphy are of the same origin, in a common origin in Chinese painting, or in Chinese art history. So the four treasures of a scholar's studio is also the four treasures of artist or the painter's studio. You might heard Sumi painting, because the translation of this kind of art into Western language is first from the Japanese. The Japanese call this Sumi-e, meaning ink painting. And the ink is very important in this kind of painting. Whether you like it, like the black in your painting or not, this is the essence or the spirit. It gives the essence of the Chinese brush painting. So we need to use ink. If you don't have any ink in your painting, it might not be considered as a Chinese painting. So we like to talk about ink first. Traditionally, Chinese ink is made from grinding ink with an ink stick on a slab of stone called Inkstone. The ink stick is made of soot or kind of very fine carbon particles mixed with glue and other ingredients. There are more than 1,000 ingredients in the ink stick, and the main ingredient is soot. There are three kinds of sources for soot. The best is the tone oil. Tone is kind of wood. Tone oil soot. This is the tone oil soot ink stick. And the next one is pine soot. Tone oil soot is luxurious and shining. Pine soot is dark but less shiny. So it's good for calligraphy, and tone oil soot ink is good for painting and calligraphy. There's other soot called lacquer soot ink stick, and we do not use that commonly. It's only used for very black part of the painting, like in gongbi or elaborated style. The process of making the ink stick is very complicated. You mix the soot with more than 1,000 secret ingredients, only kept in the family. And there's only one big clan that is a Hu clan in the Anhui province makes the best, and was traditionally the tributary ink to the emperor, to the royal family. So it's still the best brand. They use a big container with 1,000 ingredients. The ingredients cannot be random. It has to be very specific. So the glue, for example, cannot be too much. The best ink has less glue components than the bad ones, so it's easier to grind. Yet it's kept in a good shape, and the glue, and then mix them into a dough and ham them with an iron hammer for more than 30,000 times reportedly before they're ready to be placed in a model like this, and with pattern design and the decoration on it, and then wait for 3 months to dry before it can be sold or used. When we use it, it's better to keep it dry. So you only use one end of the ink stick, not both ends. Although you can use both ends. There's actually a Chinese saying that ink stick can be used on both ends, but that's only a joke, not in practice. So I would use a aluminum foil to rub the unused part to cup the upper part. So this also prevents from staining your hand, or, and then you grind it firmly and gradually in a circular movement. That's why we have this kind of shape, Inkstone, which is the second treasure we're going to discuss. The Inkstone is made of a natural piece of a whole piece of rock. It's black rock. It's not dyed, so it's not a cement. Okay, it's a natural piece of stone, and there are two kind of shape. One is rectangular, and one is round. The square one I have here actually is my first Inkstone. I used it for more than 40 years now. Still use. Inside you can see it's still a round pole, so you can grind in this movement. So you hold the ink stick perpendicular to the bottom of the Inkstone, not slant. Okay, I like to mention that the time you grind your stone is not wasted. You don't jump into painting right away traditionally. So you spend some time meditate and start thinking about the composition of your painting. It takes about 5 minutes to grind the ink. This time it's good to quiet yourself down and prepare mentally before you paint. And remember, do not grind halfway made ink, like a light ink. If you need a gray tone of ink, you need to dilute it by adding water into dark ink. So you always make a thick ink paste and then dilute into dark or heavy ink, and even very light ink. The lightest ink, you only need a few drops in a cup of water. So it's only it's almost indiscernible. So from very dark to very light, you by adding water, but don't grind halfway gray ink to use. Remember, do not leave because it has glue in it, and you don't want to leave the ink stick on the bottom of the stone when you finish grinding. If you do that, it will stick on the stone permanently. However, there's a rescue if that does happen. You can use hot water. First, drain the ink from the basin, and then pour in a little hot water. That will melt the glue, so you can remove the ink stick from the bottom. Don't force it, otherwise it will cause permanent damage to the surface of the bottom. It is very important, no matter what shape of a stone you have to choose one with lid. The reason is that you can grind as much as you need for that day. But however, if you go for a lunch break or something, you can put this lid, and it will hold the moisture for as long as the day of work. Otherwise, it will get dry very fast. Once the ink gets dry, it will get clogged, and you need to clean that to maintain the good quality ink. But there's a use for overnight ink. Even you want to reuse it the next day, you should have a lid on the remaining ink for overnight, because for overnight ink, after a long time, overnight, the ink become separated from the water. The glue and the carbon particle separated. So it has a special, I call it pastel effect. So it gets particles in the ink. It's not very smooth anymore, fresh. It's fresh ink. So it has special effect. Unless you prefer that, don't use overnight ink. Just wash the stone and use it from clean water to regrind it. However, okay, there's another tip I'd like to share with you, is that you can add glue to overnight ink to add glue water into the overnight ink to make it usable as fresh ink again. Another tip I can share with you is that you can nowadays we have bottled ink that I included in the class pack. The bottled ink compared with grind ink is this. The bottled ink is dark or very dark, but not thick enough. When we grind ink, we can make ink paste. It's very thick, so it will not smear on even the most absorbent paper. So you can enhance the bottled ink by pouring a little bit bottled ink in the stone and then grind it with Inkstick. So you combine the two form of ink, the really prepared bottled ink and the Inkstick. Then you have both the advantage of the grind ink and the convenience of the bottled ink.